You're an American TikTok user, minding your business, scrolling through dance trends, conspiracy theories, and that one guy who makes gourmet meals out of gas station snacks. Then, bam! You hear the news? TikTok might be banned and the US panic mode activated. Where are you gonna go now? Instagram feels overwhelmed. Facebook Reels feels like a knockoff. Twitter? Certainly not for the weak and faint-hearted. Then, out of nowhere, someone whispers a name in the wind. RedNote. Wait, what? A Chinese app? Wasn't TikTok banned because it was Chinese? And now Americans are running to another one? But here's the plot twist. RedNote isn't just another TikTok clone. It's something completely different. Something that's got the TikTok refugees, as they called themselves Americans, rethinking everything they thought they knew about China. RedNote isn't just showing off China's lifestyle, it's showing Americans what they're missing out on. And it's embarrassing. From futuristic cities that make New York look outdated to trains that go faster than your Wi-Fi, RedNote is making Americans look around and go, wait a minute, are we the underdogs now? And let's be real, Americans don't like losing. So naturally, some people are freaking out, while others are completely hooked. So, how did this happen? What is RedNote, and why is it suddenly America's hottest new obsession? Let's talk about it. Alright, RedNote, also known as Xiaohongshu in China, is basically Instagram, Pinterest, and Yelp. A baby that dresses better than you, eats Michelin star meals, and somehow has flawless skin. Originally, RedNote was just a shopping guide for rich Chinese girls flexing their designer bags. But then people realized, hey, why not share more? And before you knew it, the app turned into a lifestyle mecca. Beauty tips, travel hacks, home decor inspo, and weirdly specific life advice like how to date a billionaire. You name it, RedNote's got it. But here's the wild part. Americans were not supposed to be here. See, RedNote was built for China. Everything on it is tailored for Chinese users, from the trends to the influencers to the slang. It's as if China had its own private version of the internet. Then, out of nowhere, Americans just barged in uninvited. And what do these TikTok refugees do when they crash a party? They start making themselves at home. All of a sudden, RedNote's comment sections are flooded with, "Bro, China looks like a whole different planet? Why is public transport better than my house? Wait, they've got robot waiters in a normal restaurant." Meanwhile, Chinese users are just sitting there saying, "Yeah? We thought y'all knew?" And that's when it hit Americans. This app wasn't just another social media site. It was a window. This was a window into a country they had been told was strict, poor, oppressive, and outdated. And yet, here was an entirely different reality. On RedNote, China wasn't some dystopian nightmare. It was clean, modern, efficient, and low-key. Cooler than America in some ways. And for the first time, Americans started questioning the narrative they had been fed for years. Most Americans don't know what life in China is like, even life outside the United States for a huge chunk of America. The media makes it sound like everyone's either a factory worker, a government spy, or some kung fu master living in the mountains. But RedNote was showing them. Regular people. People eating dumplings. People going on vacation. People complaining about rent. People are normal. And that is what shook Americans the most. Because if China is normal, if China is actually kinda thriving, then that may mean America's not number one anymore. And that's a hard pill to swallow. Like, these are the same people who scream freedom every time someone says China. Yet here they are, willingly spending hours on a Chinese app, drooling over food they can't pronounce, and apartments that look straight out of a sci-fi movie. So, what happened? Well, a couple of things. You know how your mom tells you not to do something, and suddenly it's the only thing you want to do? Yeah, that's exactly what happened here. The US tried to ban TikTok, and Americans said, "Oh, now we really want to see what China's up to, and yes, the spies can have my data, that won't pay my bills or hinder my paycheck." And boom, RedNote downloads shot up. It's like when your parents tried to stop you from watching MTV as a kid, but instead you just watched it in secret with the volume on low. Now, let's be honest, Americans thought China consisted of factories, censorship, and old buildings. But RedNote is showing something way different. Suddenly, they're seeing neon-lit cities that look straight out of Blade Runner, bullet trains that actually show up on time, unlike you know where, insane street food that costs about $1, shopping malls with actual robots, and they're sitting there like, wait, why does this look more fun than New York? Nothing hurts an American more than feeling left out. And RedNote is basically showing them a party they weren't invited to. Super cheap healthcare? China has it. Super fast internet? China has it. High-speed trains? China has them. Street markets with $5 luxury meals? Yup, China again. Meanwhile, Americans pay $2,500 for a one-bedroom in New York and $50 for a mid-burger. So yeah, they're mad. So here's where things get really interesting. Because RedNote isn't just making Americans curious about China, it's making them rethink America itself. For years, Americans have been told, we're the best. Everyone wants to be like us. But now, they're looking at RedNote and thinking, wait a minute, are we the ones who are behind? Have you ever watched those TikTok where Europeans visit America and realize water isn't free at restaurants? Yeah, RedNote is like that, but 100 times worse. Now, Americans are realizing things like, other countries have better public transport, other countries have affordable rent, other countries have universal healthcare, other countries don't go broke over hospital bills. And suddenly, America's "We're the greatest" slogan starts to feel a little off. Let's be honest for a second. RedNote isn't just making China look cool and America look old. Like really old. And Americans do not like that. Beijing, Shanghai, Shenzhen, Chongqing Cyberpunk City. These places look like they belong in a Marvel movie. Meanwhile, half of America still looks like a scene from The Sopranos. We're talking about bullet trains in China versus trains in the US that still use paper tickets. Chinese malls with AI assistants versus American malls that are all abandoned. At this point, it's embarrassing. The final punch in the gut? China has all this cool stuff, and it's cheap. We're talking $10 train rides across the country, $5 full-course meals, $30 apartments in Tier 3, 4, 5 cities. Meanwhile, a simple night out in America can cost you half your paycheck. And at this point, Americans are looking around thinking, hold up, are we getting scammed? Alright, let's talk about the biggest plot twist of all. For years, Americans were told that China was basically a dystopian movie where everyone is miserable, the government controls everything, no one has any fun. But now, RedNote is exposing the truth and Americans are low-key shook. Wait, they're just like us? Imagine growing up thinking Chinese people live like NPCs in a government-controlled simulation. Then you open RedNote and see teenagers making dumb dance videos, couples going on cute date nights, college kids partying like it's spring break. And suddenly, it clicks, they're just normal people. They laugh, goof around, and do cringy trends. And guess what? They're having fun. And here's where it gets painful. RedNote isn't just showing that Chinese people have fun, it's showing that they might actually be having more fun than Americans in their own way. So here's the thing. RedNote is making China look cool. It's making China look like the better version of America. And that's messing with people's heads. Americans are used to being the country that has everything. The biggest economy, the best cities, the coolest culture. But now, RedNote is flipping the script. Because suddenly, Americans are watching videos of cheap, high-speed trains they don't have, insanely clean subways they don't have, fancy vending machines they don't have, affordable healthcare they don't have. And at some point, they have to admit, China has stuff that America doesn't. This must be fake. Now here's the funniest part. Whenever Americans see something too good on RedNote, their first reaction isn't, wow, that's cool. It's, this has to be propaganda. They just can't believe that China has better public transport, more affordable living, safer streets. Because if that's true, then America is behind. And for a lot of people, that's too hard to accept. Enough of all the glitz and glam. Now let's address the big conspiracy theory. Is RedNote just a secret Chinese propaganda tool? Because think about it. This app is making millions of Americans suddenly question everything they were told about China. Compare America to China, and not in America's favor. Even consider moving to China. That's some next-level influence. Seriously, there are Americans in the comments saying, "I'm about to learn Mandarin and pack my bags." And if that starts happening at scale, then yeah, that's a major soft power flex for China. Oh boy, things are getting serious when the debates hit Twitter, Reddit, and TikTok. RedNote has officially divided the internet, and the reactions are hilarious. So first, we've got the skeptics. These are the people who have never been to China but are 100% convinced that everything on RedNote is fake. Every time they see a video of bullet trains that actually arrive on time, people leaving their phones unattended in a cafe, a dinner for two that costs less than a McDonald's meal, their immediate reaction is lies, Chinese propaganda, fake news. But then, actual Americans who live in China start commenting, I live here, it's real. And that's when the skeptics go into full denial mode. Then we've got the self-aware Americans. These people are watching RedNote and realizing that maybe it's not China that's weird, maybe it's us. They see a video of a Chinese night market and they're like, why don't we have this? They see workers in China eating fresh meals during lunch breaks and they're like, why am I eating microwave noodles at my desk? They see entire cities with reliable public transport and they're like, why am I paying $2,000 a month for rent and still sitting in traffic for 2 hours? And suddenly, they're looking around America thinking, did we get scammed? And this is where things get nasty. Because every single RedNote video now has the following. One side screaming propaganda, another side screaming America is a scam, and then a third side just posting memes and eating popcorn. And let's be honest, this is America's worst nightmare. For decades, Americans were told they had the best lifestyle in the world. Now, their own people are questioning it, and the government is freaking out. Which brings us to, will America try to ban RedNotes like TikTok? So, we all remember the TikTok drama. American politicians were literally sweating trying to ban TikTok because they were convinced China was spying on everyone. China was stealing Americans' data. China was secretly brainwashing kids into doing dumb dance trends. So now, with RedNote blowing up, and RedNote is next on the hit list. See, with TikTok, the fear was data leaks. With RedNote, the fear is mindset leaks. Americans aren't just watching China, they're questioning America. And if too many people start thinking China is better, what would happen if some of them actually went to China? Let's talk about the not-so-fun part of RedNote, the big C word. Censorship. While RedNote is out here blowing American minds with videos of high-speed trains and cheap dumplings, there's one thing missing. Anything negative about China. Surprise, surprise. If you try to post a video about human rights issues, government crackdowns, or anything remotely controversial, for example, talk about what happened at Tiananmen Square, guess what happens? Poof, gone, deleted. This is a big turnoff for many Americans, but others don't see anything wrong. Thanks to Trump's executive order, TikTok is back after being banned for a day or two in the US. The order gives the app a 90-day grace period to sell off at least 50% of its ownership to an American company. So, what's the deal? Will TikTok survive this challenge, or is it facing the end of its US reign? The big concern? Security risks are due to its Chinese ownership, and the US government wants to take a piece of that action. They're demanding that TikTok sell some shares, but here's the catch. TikTok's soul is rooted in its connection to ByteDance, its parent company. So, selling off a chunk could seriously shake up its foundation. Will it still be the same TikTok we know and love? Meanwhile, RedNote, China's rising star, is quickly filling the void. While TikTok's future is hanging in the balance, RedNote is thriving in America by giving a similar experience. With pro-China content getting more popular, RedNote is stealthily changing the narrative and isn't worried about being shut down. The app's already rooted deep in China's control, with no major push from the US to intervene. Yet, RedNote's censorship and pro-China stance rub some people wrong. Unlike TikTok, RedNote isn't bogged down by the need to play nice with US laws, because it's not American-owned. But will RedNote be the new TikTok? Only time will tell. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.